all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin J. Ayy. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Vitamin J. Vitamin J. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J. Got what you need. Vitamin J. Got what you need.
All
Vitamin
alone.
J. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Vitamin J.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J. Got what you need. Vitamin J. Got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin J. Ayy. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin J. Vitamin J. Vitamin J. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J. Got what you need. Vitamin J. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Hey. Final round. You already know how I'm coming, man. Yeah. Tryna run the town. Tell 'em no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's by smoke, then we toke all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see they start crumbling now. Mad struck start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock glitz, know they look how it freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the gang, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tune into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dante Crisis back with your weekly dose of vitamin G, and I hope each and every single one of you is doing well. Today with me is 3 of the esteemed panel members of the Vitamin G podcast. Jubei is late again. Not gonna hold that against him. It's Jubei, and I actually like him. But first of all, let's get to the Nintendo man who's got a lot on his mind today. Zero, how are you today? What you been up to, man?
What is going on, good people? I am doing well. Mostly been, what have I been playing? Got back into Destiny a little bit. So I actually was playing that right before we started the show. Very excited for that Witch Queen expansion dropping in February. Some might say the biggest thing that is dropping in February. Some might say that. Maybe. I don't know. Got back into Bravely Default 2, which I didn't finish. I put it down and got sort of distracted by some things. So I'm sort of back into that game real full force. And once again, just a charming little JRPG it just exists, and it's nice. It does everything it wants to do very well. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Slowly making my way through Deathloop, and that's just because I haven't had a lot of time. And I started Spider-Man.
Marvel
Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Alright.
Which is actually quite good. I enjoy, when it comes to the comic book properties, I enjoy how they portray the characters. I think that's a top importance for me, as opposed to like the gameplay and stuff. The gameplay is pretty fun. I feel like they kind of nail Miles in the same way that I felt like they kind of nailed Peter the first go around. And so seeing him interact and seeing him be a part of New York City is just kind of fun and cool. So it feels like this game is definitely shorter than I thought it was going to be, but that's all right. It's still a good time.
Good, real good. Next is to the PlayStation man of the panel. Omar, what have you been up to?
Yes, what I have been up to still is 9. I am about to drop $40 around that to buy a few different games. And other than that, it's 9, and yet focusing on my own podcast, which was a fun experience. That's about it.
Good, very good. And next, one of the two Xbox panel members, Pharaoh. What have you been up to, my man?
Nothing much, not a lot of gaming. It was my birthday week, so went down to Orlando. Had a good time, and actually went to the Final Fantasy VII orchestra on yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday. That's a weekend is a bit of a blur, but yeah. So I went to that. It was
Give us
great.
some reviews.
Yes, reviews.
The music was awesome. There was, millions of people dressed as Aerith and Tifa. So we saw about 70 of them, and all different flavors, all the dresses, the original outfit costume. We had a couple Rufuses in the building. No Cloud. No, there was one Cloud. Yeah, it was a great show. Music was great. The one disappointment was that the composer was like, "Yeah, we just got clearance to play Jesse's theme," and then he didn't play it at all.
Because they probably didn't even rehearse it if they didn't think they could do it.
So,
was it just 7? Or
it was just Final Fantasy VII music, and they actually did bring out a guy to do the Hollow Ballad. So that was pretty cool. And they capped everything off with, I believe, One Way Angel.
Oh,
pretty cool. They capped everything off with that, and like when they did that, they made the entire room red, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
So help me out.
I liked it.
Was it outside of it just being a concert? What's the purpose? And what I mean by that is because I was shocked that it's just 7, as opposed.
It's just
to these are just live concerts. That's really it. They might have something on screen to show like visuals, but all in all, it is just.
Yeah, it's just live orchestra. They do like a mashup of scenes from the video game, but the scenes don't really tell a story of the video game. Like if you didn't play the video game and you just went to the orchestra, you don't leave the orchestra with an understanding of the video game.
That makes sense.
Like it's just it's just like a mashup of moments from the game.
And this is their orchestra, or who's the orchestra itself? Like this isn't the Philharmonic, right?
That was the Philharmonic that performed.
Okay, so they're just playing the show. Okay, so it's the show itself, and each orchestra is doing it.
Yeah. So I don't think each orchestra. I don't think the orchestra is actually like traveling around the world. I think they're doing a world tour, and a local orchestra to that region is performing.
Got you.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing with because they did the same thing with the Legend of Zelda. I think it was when they brought out Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. There was a live orchestra. I think it was before release, because I think when that released, it came with a soundtrack. It came with the soundtrack, and I believe a live orchestra rendition of the soundtrack as well.
And I'm assuming this isn't connected to the video games live people. This is something separate.
I think it is connected because Nobuo Matsu, the one who designed all the music, he actually greenlights all the music that is performed at the show. So like they are in touch with the Square Enix people as far as what songs to play, the order that the songs get played, and everything. So they're not just winging it and picking like their favorite songs from the collection.
Right. Interesting.
They need to as well, because you basically, it's also a copyright thing. They need like the okay from the copyright holder to be able to do it live, because you're selling the show on the premise that you are going to be playing like those songs from that game.
And like like Yoshida and Nobuo Matsu and all like key game designers and stuff like that were key in developing the story and stuff like that. They give messages throughout the show and things like that. So it's pretty cool.
Any surprise reveal dates on when the next Final Fantasy Part 2 is going to drop?
There are no reveal dates, unfortunately. No
so 2024
no special scenes.
So 2020. So 20 never.
Yeah, so 2024 is part 2.
No. I think the only way to accurately say it'll be coming out in the year fucking Army of Darkness.
Yeah, it would be nice if they gave us like a little snippet, Final Fantasy, like Midgar on Unreal 5 or something like that. But nah, they didn't give us any of that.
So your kids are legit gonna be in like high school, maybe college, by the time this thing wraps up.
Yeah, probably.
I say 2023 Remake 2 comes out. That's the latest.
That's so long, bro. 2023.
I'm still under the convention. It's
not coming out. It's not coming out this April. So, and I don't think I think they'll release it, in April again of 2023.
Just be happy. We'll get Final Fantasy VII Part 2 before we get Final Fantasy 16. All right, but as far as me, I was playing Modern Warfare today. Played Back 4 Blood on the weekend. Back 4 Blood is deceptively fucking difficult. Like, if you've ever played the original Left 4 Dead, it's more difficult than that on its medium difficulty. Like, there's 3 difficulties, and it's weird because the first difficulty, even though it says you have no you don't really have much experience, it plays like normal mode. The second difficulty is hard mode, and then Nightmare is basically what it says on the tin. But yeah, no, that game's balancing is jacked to all shit, or they deliberately made it difficult. But it's fun. But it's not just the game that comes to difficulty. No matter the difficulty you pick, you only have 2 tries. If you die twice, that save file is dead. You can't use it. But there are checkpoints on Recruit, the first difficulty. You get a checkpoint after every single section you do. On Veteran, which is the second difficulty, you get one every 2. If there's 4 levels, you get one every two levels in a section. But if there's 3, you only get 1. On Nightmare, there is only 1. You only get 1 per section. So if you die twice, it's back to the beginning of that fucking section for you. Like, it's rough. It's fucking rough. And the other thing with that game is it has enemies that can snatch you, basically. You can get out of it with a stun gun, but you only get 1 stun gun. You have to pay for it with copper. And once these enemies grab you, there is no getting out of it. So if your entire team gets grabbed, it's a team wipe.
Well, does it have legs in the same way that Left 4 Dead did?
Yes and no. Yes, because it does make me want to go through it on its highest difficulties once I've collected enough cards. Because there's a card system in it where it gives you buffs. Like 20% more running speed. But these are cards you earn through in-game currency. There's no microtransactions so far. The problem with this game, though, that I see is I'm not seeing any kind of thing for mod support. Which is what gave the original Left 4 Dead legs. But I believe there is a swarm mode, which I think is basically a horde mode or something, but I don't see any kind of verses in it or anything like that. So, like, yes for replay value, no for longevity. Aside from that, playing Dying Light, the following, Metro Dread, played last week, was fucking amazing. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, Dark Souls, I'm near the end of Dark Souls as well. Alright.
It feels like a game that every 3 months they'll probably add something new to it.
It looks like it from the outside. From the inside, there's no way.
Does Dead by Daylight have a lot of mods? Because that's every time I look up, that game still seems to be pretty supported well, and the community around it is functional and like thriving. And I'm just curious as to, is it just not a fluke, right? But is it just a thing? Is it just like Left 4 Dead?
No,
Dead by Daylight's just scratching a specific itch.
Dead by Daylight is a weird fucking thing because they are still updating that game. They are still doing events for that game to this day. Like, it doesn't change the base game, but like they add new missions, some fun little stuff, some fun little things for you to go and do.
The new killers, like I think there's a
No,
new
there's
K-pop killer.
Oh, you mean Dead by Daylight? Sorry, I thought you meant Dying Light. No, with
I'm sorry, I meant Dead by Daylight. Sorry.
Yeah, Dead by Daylight. Yes, no, they keep adding killers and stuff like that to that game, which and add new maps that kind of make it a little fresh. But it mainly comes down also to the meta of the game and the fact that like the K-pop guy wasn't the most recent one. The Cenobite Pinhead from the Hellraiser series was the most recent one. And he is overpowered as a motherfucker. Like, the whole meta has changed because of how strong he is. It's ridiculous.
But is that part of it? Like, there's some fun of playing the, horror of greatest killers. You know, like, they get to use them more or less freely.
No, the reason why is because with Dead by Daylight, each experience, because it's a multiplayer-only game, the experience is completely different because every killer acts differently and every person playing a different killer is very different. So like what you could have one person who plays one killer fantastically and then another person plays him just as good, just in a very different way with a different kind of style. That's where, and all of the different maps and everything, there's buffs and debuffs that can change the outcome of things. Like, there's a lot of nuance to that game that gives it replayability. Left 4 Dead's replayability wasn't necessarily in the fact that you could play with 4 people, because the story plays out pretty much the same throughout the whole thing anyway. Like, you can predict where tanks are going to show up, you can predict where witches are going to spawn, you can predict all of that stuff. What gave longevity to Left 4 Dead was its modding scene, because there is like over 1,000 maps on Steam Workshop just for Left 4 Dead 2.
And is this still Turtle Rock?
Turtle Rock,
Back 4 Blood now?
Turtle Rock for Back 4 Blood were the ones who originally did the first Left 4 Dead. They did. I don't believe they did Left 4 Dead 2. I believe that was Valve's internal team.
Okay.
But they are the guys behind Left 4 Dead. They're the ones who kicked it all off.
Right.
But the lack of mod support really makes me worry about this game's longevity, because, again, the only thing that gives this game any kind of randomness or replayability is corruption cards, which buffs enemies within the game in certain ways. Like, certain enemies will have armor, and some enemies will deal more damage, and that's about it. And that's sort of randomized, but at this point, I won't, like, in certain maps, it'll fucking turn into Silent Hill with a fog that you can't see 2 feet in front of you, which gets really annoying when it comes to an enemy called Hawkers, which when I was talking about trapping enemies, are just enemies that will hawk giant fucking vials of spit at you and trap you in your location, and you can't see them in that fog. So there's also an element of frustration to it as well. Now, rolling over into frustration, into our first topic, 0. So I've used the analogy many a times about Nintendo and their fans being like it's a domestic violence situation where the fans are the wife or the man, and the recipient, the victim, and Nintendo are the abusers. Because I do not understand how anybody will be able to justify to me this goddamn fucking price hack for this goddamn online. Give us your thoughts, my friend.
So for those who, I guess 2 people living under the rock who haven't heard about it, Nintendo recently, last week or the week before?
It was last week.
No, it's
last week. Yeah, just announced that the pricing for their Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which features a selection of N64 games, as well as, I believe, like 14 Sega games.
And as well as the very last update, an expansion for Animal Crossing, which can be bought separately, mind you.
Yes.
Everybody should know this. It can be bought separately.
Yes. So currently, Nintendo Switch Online is about $20 a year, which just gives you the online ability as well as
cloud saving, NES games, SNES
NES games, all the sort of standard stuff you expect that you see normally and better from PlayStation and Xbox. And for some odd reason,
for that, I'm just sorry. I know I told you to go on. Just to point out, I would say though that like for what Nintendo offered just for $20 or £18 where I live, I'd actually say this is a goddamn bargain, especially if it's for a year. I think that's also should be mentioned. The $20 is for the year of the service, which I think is
the $20 was pretty solid because at the very least you've got Mario 1, 2, or I can't remember if 2's on there, but I know you got Mario 1, 3, and All Stars.
Yeah,
and like. For most people, that's worth the price of admission alone. If I can replay Mario 3 or Super Mario All-Stars or in Super Mario World, people are like...
Co-op online as well.
Yes. So, like, that's a great thing. Then Dr. Mario's there. Actually, a lot of the old classics are just there. $20 a month, inoffensive. Like, people lose that more often than they probably spend it on frivolous things. But unfortunately... the N64 and Sega Edition expansion pack raises that price to $50 a year. Essentially, it is now the equivalent, more or less, to PS Plus and or Xbox Live, without even half of the benefits that both of these services provide. And the key challenge and issue with this, I think, is what they're essentially asking us to do is pay for a season pass of which we don't know what we're getting. There are only, I think, 9 N64 games that are dropping initially. Of them, let's be completely honest here, it's Star Fox 64, Ocarina of Time, maybe Mario Kart, and probably Yoshi's Story are the 4 that are like the most valuable of this entire pack. Dr. Mario, Mario Tennis, there's a new one out. There's really no need to play the old one. Sin and Punishment, Win Back, So, and Super Mario 64, but people probably just bought that. Yeah, they just sold us that. So we probably already have it. So again, So it's really only the multiplayer ones, and most likely it's just going to be Star Fox 64 and maybe Mario Kart. But even that, Mario Kart 8, the charts just came out. Mario Kart 8 is number 11, or Infinite, is number 11 on the top sales charts. So clearly nobody's interested in playing the old one anymore. So I am predictably disappointed in Nintendo, because for everything they tend to do right and all the things I defend them on, there was the whole conversation about the price of admission for Metroid, and I was fine with the price, don't have an issue with it. This, I feel, is sort of it's not worth it. I don't think it's worth it for anyone. I don't think anybody who is even casually interested in this going to be spending that much money for it. It honestly just doesn't give you a lot, and there's promise of more to come, but we have absolutely no idea what that is.
And like this is less of a punch in the guts and more like a flick in the nuts. Like the kind of flick that hurts more than just being straight up punched in the nuts. That's what this is.
We still have no word on how often they'll be updating games, when new games will be coming. Banjo is part of that list too, so maybe people will go back to Banjo.
But why? Because you can just get a fucking... it's more expensive, but I guarantee you a better running version of that game already exists with the rare replay, which will most likely be on Game Pass.
And there's no point in getting it, because most likely it probably is on Game Pass, and it's like, well, I have that here, so why would I do it here for $50 a month? I completely agree with you. It's an absurd pricing, and I can't particularly figure out why, when I do think they could have gotten away with this if they just dropped all of the Sega stuff. No one cares. Let Sega do it, or let the other companies who worked with Sega to make it happen, and just delve into their deep catalog. Like, Nintendo has a huge catalog and roster of games that they can do. They've proven this with the SNES and NES Online. There's so many games in that service that I'd never even heard of before. And through that service, they didn't do anything different. There is essentially, if anyone's ever played Pokemon Puzzle League, it's a fantastic versus puzzle game. There's a Japanese equivalent that was on the SNES years ago, but it's in all Japanese. They changed absolutely nothing about it. But it still works, and once you learn the menus, you can figure out and do just fine. So it seems like that cost them literally nothing to do other than put it on the service and leave it alone. They have dozens, hundreds of Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, 3DS, Wii, Wii U, GameCube, and in addition more N64 games that they could have added that
would have justified
I don't
this
know
price.
I don't know why they're not doing it. Like, I'm utterly baffled as to why. Because one, the Sega thing makes, the more I look at it, the Sega thing is like, what's the point of this? Ignoring the fact that, as you said the last time, Dante, like, all of this stuff already exists. Sega already sold us this. And for a cheaper, and you can still buy it now and have it. But what was the thought process behind let's include Sega in this?
Because
why would we care?
We need to remind everybody that we beat them into submission and we survived and they didn't into this generation.
Which is perfectly fine. I mean, like, I understand that, but, like, what is the point? Like, seriously, and they're not the competition anymore, but, like, what is the point of having, quote-unquote, the competition's games, right? Like, you have for example, here's a perfect opportunity to introduce people to Advance Wars because the new one's coming out. Here's a perfect opportunity to bring people into some of the other Castlevanias that you didn't want to put on the Advance collection.
Metroid Fusion, and they literally released the sequel to that game.
Yes, here's an opportunity to say, hey, let me back up a bit and show you where Samus came from, how she got to this point before you go pick up Dread. Even the old Animal Crossings, if you want to go do that. Like, I know a lot of these games, because while Nintendo is a developer, they're also like double as publisher. So very easy example is Pokemon Snap, published by Nintendo, not actually made by them. The biggest one clearly has always been Pokemon itself. Game Freak makes the games, Nintendo just publishes it. So like, there's of course, we're not going to always be able to get our faves.
But the problem arises there is the fact that Nintendo does hold some stock inside of the Pokemon company. So like,
they do, absolutely. But for Snap specifically, it was. People were asking for years, and the answer was the people who made Pokemon Snap, they didn't exist. The company didn't exist anymore. And Nintendo weren't doing it, and so they were like, well, we didn't do it. Until we find some other people to do it, it's not happening. It wasn't as if, like, it was completely ignored, but the people who made it weren't around anymore. And so I understand that. And it gets confusing because we just wrap everything up in the Nintendo umbrella. So sometimes there's a miss about how things work. Like, I kind of suspect that's part of the reason for Golden Sun not returning anywhere. They might not, the team who did it might not have to do it, or it might be more convoluted than they want to deal with. Because it's not like Nintendo's necessarily hurting here. Like, they're doing fine. So if they don't want to put any more effort into it than they have to, they aren't going to.
The OLED is proof of that, because people have been eating that shit up.
People seem to love the OLED, and everything I hear about is fantastic. But just like the OLED, I wonder, like the OLED and Switch Online, I'm just like, what? Just make it make sense to me. And Switch Online isn't making sense to me just yet. If like 2 years down the line, every month they've added 1 or 2 new games, and now we've maybe got 20 to 30 games in this thing, maybe it might be worth the price of admission. But you're asking me for maybe 9 or 10 N64 games, which is the draw here. Let's not mince the Sega stuff is not the draw. No one cares, right? Like, I think the best one of the
for Ocarina.
Exactly. People want it for Ocarina. People want it for Mario Kart. People want it for Super Mario 64. Yeah, they're going to be wanting it for George's Mask. No. Yeah, so. No one cares. I mean, Strider is fine, but Strider was on the Capcom arcade things. You go play it there. And no one particularly cares about Sonic 1 through anymore. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is.
No, you can emulate that shit on your phone.
Yeah, Sonic's everywhere. And go play, what is it? Sonic, not Generations, Sonic Mania. Yeah. It's one of the greatest Sonic games ever made.
And it wasn't even made by Sega. It was made by a fucking hacker. It was made by a former hacker, Christian Whitehead, I believe. It was his name.
So I can't support this decision, Nintendo. I don't understand, what the thought process is. And the more I think about it, the more games that keep coming to my head. It's like Quest 64, Harvest Moon 64, Body Harvest, which might be a little impossible to get. What is it? Trag, or that might have been Dreamcast. There's a whole host, Mischief Makers, of these games that they could have led with. Like they didn't. I don't even think they put their best foot forward. They put a good foot forward with like, hey guys, we got Ocarina, and we all know you love Ocarina.
All you want.
But like, they could have did the original Smash. Like people would play that, and you can play online. That's something we'd never had before. I'm sad, or predictably saddened. Like I shouldn't be surprised, and I'm not that much. But like I really was like, I'm thinking 30 here, maybe 40 if they really want to push it. But I was thinking $30 a year.
And how they came and smacked you in the mouth and said, "Silly Zero, we want more."
On top of, and I suspect that some of these games are just going to operate better on the controllers. The controllers themselves are $50.
Yeah.
So that portable incident, and I'd probably be about 85% sure that most of the games they bring over are going to work best on an N64 controller. I don't know if they're going to make the effort to remap all the buttons for the Switch controllers.
Oh, they will. No, they will. It's effectively the same goddamn controller. The only difference is using the Ocarina and switching weapons is going to be one of the more... let's use Ocarina of Time, for example. Switching weapons and shit on the fly and using stuff, they're going to have to map that to the goddamn analog because there ain't no way you're going to be able to use the D-pad as the C-stick.
Exactly.
So imagine trying to play the Ocarina or getting your weapons out with the fucking analog. It just doesn't feel right to me. Not that I haven't done it, but I've played it emulated and had the C-stick on the right analog, and it just doesn't feel all that good.
I mean, where's Donkey Kong? Where's Donkey Kong Country?
Donkey Kong Country is on the SNES. You mean Donkey Kong 64?
64, excuse me. Where's the old Mario parties? Where are the things that you own?
They're reselling you that shit in that Mario Party Superstars thing. That's what they're doing.
Which is perfectly fine, but like there are at least years of Mario parties that haven't shown up in the newer stuff. Because even in Superstars, there's only like 5 maps. So
there's also probably a conflict of interest to have some of the older games compete with some of the newer versions.
What new Donkey Kong game they got coming?
No, I'm talking about the Mario Party.
Yeah.
And so I can actually buy that, particularly if we're going to do the online thing once again. Yeah, why buy the new one when like Mario Party? It's different,
because Nintendo,
but like it's the same across the way.
Because Nintendo fanboys will buy both regardless. That's the problem. That is the crux of the problem here. They're gonna buy both either way.
I mean, spend your money how you want to spend it. I can't dictate that. I can only try to shame the corporation into not doing this. Like, this is one of those times where I hope that like the Twitter voice all sort of forms into one and says like, Nintendo, no.
Nah,
they
are defending it. I think that they literally had one thing. I didn't have any hope for you, but fuck me. And then in the next sentence, one person said, "I'm still gonna buy it." He's like, "Yeah, no, I'm still gonna buy it."
Which is funny. Hold on. Which is funny. He's saying this. I'm looking at the official Nintendo overview trailer. That was released on the 15th of October, and this has 15,000 likes to 65,000 dislikes.
Yeah, but remember one thing, Pokemon, that whole Pokemon fiasco, people were up and armed, and they're gonna boycott it, and what happened at the end? Pokemon sold the most out of all Pokemon games on Shield and Sword and Shield. So Nintendo fans are gonna do what they're good at.
That is a completely different scenario, but I understand where you're coming from.
Same. Like, the Pokemon thing is a little different, and that goes in largely to
Reusing
the general
animations.
question of, and who was Pokemon for? If I'm 16 years old, I don't care. Well, when I was 16 and playing Pokemon, I didn't care about the things that the people my age now were complaining about Pokemon for. You know, the national decks, all this other type of stuff. Like, Pokemon is a children's JRPG. Children will be playing this, and it's didn't to say that children are dumb and can't like have good things, because they can. But Pokemon is a dominance brand. You know what I mean? It's like, and everybody who played Pokemon Go, everybody who dabbled, everybody who watched a TV show but never really touched the game, but who has a Switch now because everybody and their mother has a Switch, is like, I'll give it a shot.
Again, someone said 10 hours ago, for those interested in the Genesis lineup, just know you can pick up the Sega Genesis Classics collection on Switch with 37 more games, most features in NSO included, all for a one-time fee of $30. They don't have the same lineup of games, but you're getting a hell of a better deal than the collection on Nintendo Switch Online when it comes to Genesis games. Which, again, I've mentioned before. We need to get to the other guys, Zero. So I'm just gonna quickly give my opinion, real quick. I said this last week. I'll say it again. And I knew this was coming. Clairvoyance came through again. I said they were going to jack the price. I knew it was going to be ridiculous. I said that the Sega games weren't worth it because you can buy them for a one-off price and you own them. The N64 games, I couldn't really complain because they have some good games there, but for the price I figured it was going to be, they needed more. And also, I'm going to say it right now, if their previous emulation of stuff like Ghouls and Ghosts, where it runs just as fucking slow sometimes on the emulation as it does on actual hardware, games with notorious slowdown will get notorious slowdown in these N64 games and these Genesis games because they're using bog standard internet instead of trying to use emulation that will improve the frame rate. Star Fox, you can go and play Star Fox. That fucker still chugs like a motherfucker like it did on original hardware. They did nothing to try and improve it. Okay? That's my thoughts. I'm gonna fucking die on this hill. Jubei, seeing as your ass is laid here, you're on the podium next. What have you got to say about this?
I'm buying it. I don't really care. I want to play Ocarina on my Switch. I don't have an N64. I don't want to put it on my PC. I'm going to buy it.
Just wait for a Stream Deck then.
I Steam Deck is next year. I don't want to wait until next year. I want to play it now. So
you fucking you are so
but here's the thing.
And here's the thing. It's optional. I already have Switch Online for a year. I'm already paid up for that. So I'm not gonna pay the full price for the year for the expansion pack anyway, because they're gonna.
That's what I was gonna say. They haven't released the price for the monthly, but my thought is when Jubei gets it, he's just getting it for like a month or two to play Ocarina and then be done with it.
Right. So it's like I'm not really tripping, and if I do decide to get like the year plan, it's gonna be the family plan, just because I can get my daughter on it, etc. So because she has her own Switch, so I mean that's fine. Those are games she's never played. I'm not gonna sit her in front of my PC and tell her, yeah, go ahead and do that. That's not gonna happen. She's damn sure not gonna touch my Steam Deck when I get it. So you feel me? So no. It's
wow.
Bro, 8-year-olds are disastrous with
Your
anything that's
child.
worth money.
Okay, but if they haven't released the monthly thing, then I do have to question and ask this question to everybody here, just as a thought experiment. What if there is no monthly perk thing? What if this is they're only allowing yearly subscriptions?
I mean, but again, it's optional. The Switch Online's price isn't changing, and Switch Online still has monthly options. The expansion part, though, I mean, this is an additional add-on for the people that want it. It's not a requirement. It's not, you're not forced into it. The original Switch plan.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm on about you're talking about monthly. Like,
I mean,
if
they don't have a monthly, like I said, I was going to get a year of it anyway, so that doesn't really bother me in the slightest.
Okay.
Jube's part of the problem this time. Not
Yeah,
me.
he is. He is.
Blame me.
Part of the. I mean,
Massively.
I pay for what I want. You feel me? I'm willing to pay for what I want, and if this means that I can emulate those old games without having to drop whatever amount of
One
money
game.
on an N64,
One game.
it doesn't matter if it's one game. People bought
I'm
PS5s for one game. Like
I'm-
you buy new consoles
You
for
mean to tell
one
me
game.
that you don't
Like-
you don't want to drop $5,000 on a new PC with a
Fuck no, because I can
Just
spend less than that to build a new one.
GPU
No,
with an awesome GPU,
No.
so you can
No.
emulate any game that you want. And have,
You don't
know,
even
all
need an
the
awesome
preservation.
GPU. I could pull out a GPU right now that could emulate all of these games, and it's fucking.
I mean, you can play.
years old.
There's a little thing, so you can play Mario 64 on your Xbox 360.
His phone could emulate fucking Zelda.
it doesn't matter. I mean, I mean, the only thing I would use a PC emulator for, as far as N64, would be to play Virtual Pro 2, because I'm not paying a Japanese import that game, and I'm gonna emulate the fuck out of it. So,
8-year-olds.
and that's the only thing.
8-year-olds would press the nuke button if given a chance.
Yeah, fuck that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, the pricing is a bit stiff. It is. You go from $20 a year to $50, and then from $35 a year to $80. That's kind of a little difficult.
It's ironic you turn around and say it's a bit stiff. Nintendo fans have been used to getting dicked around by Nintendo for years now.
I mean, that's fine, but I also don't buy games for the Switch like that. The last game I bought was Monster Hunter Rise, and I haven't bought shit else since then.
I dread. Anyway,
plus I know my daughter is going to play the Animal Crossing DLC that's included in that. So I mean, that's $25 extra I don't have to spend that I was going to have to spend anyway. So I'm
I do kind of want that
DLC,
DLC, but I might have to go. I might just have to buy it outright.
Yeah, because then you own it. Anyway, Omar, I'm sure you're buying at the chop into bit to rip into Nintendo. Go ahead. What have you got to say about this price hack?
Nintendo is going to Nintendo is Nintendoing. What else is there for it? This sets a very dangerous precedent that I fear other companies are gonna capitalize on it if this takes off. I really hope that this doesn't get popular, because I don't want to see PlayStation raising the price and Xbox raising the price, especially with the amount of shit Nintendo is getting away with. Like, they don't have voice chat, they don't have what's called trophies or achievements yet. Like, yet they went ahead and did that price hike. I just can't. And especially, they're literally focusing solely on nostalgia. Nostalgia is genuinely one hell of a drunk. So it seems.
Pharaoh, I feel like you might have something to say about that. Go ahead, Pharaoh. You're up next. I'm sure you have something to say to that.
I mean, as far as what Omar is saying, I mean, Nintendo is doing this because Xbox and PlayStation are already doing it. I mean, if you look at PlayStation Now and Xbox Game Pass,
not just that, but
the
free games you get from PlayStation Plus.
Yeah,
and those get locked off if you run out of your subscription as well.
So I mean, like we're already seeing Xbox and PlayStation kind of do this thing within the services that they already offer. This is just Nintendo getting in on the party. And people may not like how they're choosing to do it, but I mean that's what's going on right now.
Yeah, they're playing catch up. They're not.
Yeah, they're
yeah, like the situation
up.
Wouldn't be PlayStation and Xbox being like, Nintendo can do this. Maybe let's just, I don't know, drop trophies and achievements from our services since Nintendo.
No, not like that, but more like PlayStation putting what's called putting PlayStation well. I understand.
And if you go on PlayStation Now right now, look at the catalog. It's a lot of old PlayStation 1 games. There's some I think there's some PlayStation 3 games in there. I mean, I haven't looked at the catalog in a while, but it's a bunch of past generation games.
There is around 800 games on PlayStation PS now.
But most of those games are old games that you can no longer purchase. They're games from previous generations.
Yeah, and let's not talk bullshit here. Like, everybody is playing on nostalgia. PlayStation is playing on nostalgia. Xbox is playing on nostalgia. Just Xbox is doing it the best with actual disc backwards compatibility. So
I agree. However, what I would say is only Nintendo, if let's say it's a power level here, Nintendo clearly has the strongest level of nostalgia.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like,
that's because they've got the older catalog. Like they've got the catalog going back all the way to the 80s.
They've told you that Mario, Zelda, Donkey Kong, that these are our people, and you're just gonna have to like it. And we've learned to like it.
So
they've told you who our characters are. They said we're not making any more new ones. So
and the new ones we do make, we'll forget about it a couple years.
unless it's Bayonetta when we tell them to specifically still make her sexy.
We're not making any new characters.
I guess maybe I would ask you, Farrell, because you pay more attention to, I guess, the business side of these things. When I look at Nintendo Online, my first thought is like, you could be what Disney Plus was to that space. Like Disney Plus, outside of the Marvel things, that entire service exists just for nostalgia purposes. Most people, and then like eventually they get new stuff, and like that keeps the service running. But people want to go watch all their Disney movies. They want to rewatch the entire Marvel catalog over and over and over and over and over again. Nintendo could have been that. And is there an idea that perhaps they're like these companies, the big three, like, do they watch the other services subscription models, particularly because like Netflix and them are pretty closely related?
For sure, they do.
Do we think they watch them and try to?
This is how PlayStation followed Xbox with Pay for Online.
Well, no, not in that way.
He's talking about on the outside space of gaming. Like,
I think they do watch these other subscription services and how they model their businesses and things like that. But I believe that Nintendo, I think Nintendo is cognizant of who their user base is, and I think they understand that there's no need to invest in features like achievements and voice chat when most of our user base is of a younger generation, and parents don't want their kids voice chatting with some random stranger playing Pokemon against them.
Bullshit.
You say it's bullshit, but it's the reality.
I damn sure don't want that.
If you're thinking about
hold on. And here's the thing: it's not like Nintendo doesn't have any form of voice chat, because they do have a form of.
Nintendo just came out with a fucking hentai game. Stop with that bullshit.
Omar, will you start with your bullshit and let me finish? Nintendo does have a voice, does actually have a voice app. I've used it for Smash Brothers. I don't know how big the catalog is for the use, where some games like Smash...
No, they have an actual app.
On the phone
they have voice chat. They just do it in the most Nintendo way possible. It's an actual app you download on your phone.
Yeah, I'm literally opening it right now. See?
Well, exactly. They have it on an app that you download for your phone. But most of the kids who have these Switches don't also have a phone.
It does work for Animal Crossing. I didn't think it worked.
It works for everything. Yeah, not for everything. You're right. You're right.
Because Nintendo doesn't have that many multiplayer games when you actually think about it. The only 3 big multiplayer games they've got is Splatoon 2, Smash Brothers Ultimate, and Animal Crossing. That's a new one, actually, because the last time I was playing Animal Crossing, it didn't actually have online. But I guarantee you, Splatoon 3 comes out, it's going to be on here. So in the most roundabout way, it does have voice chat, but
it's just stupid.
It's stupid, but it's not like it doesn't work, because it actually does work strangely.
Yeah, but they understand what their user base is and what's important to that user base.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm not arguing.
good.
I'm just arguing the fact that there is actually
Like,
voice chat to
so
argue
like
against
all these games that give us nostalgia, they know that like that I'm not buying a Switch and getting this service, even though I loved all these games growing up, and I'll sit there and talk for days about, you know, all these old great games that I used to play on Nintendo. I'm not the one that's invested in the Switch and the services that it provides. But you know what? My son is. You know, my 5-year-old son, he's like, oh yeah, let me play the Switch, let me play this, let me play that. And you know, I might get that service for him so he can enjoy the same games that I enjoyed growing up, but I'm not going to be the one necessarily playing them myself.
A question: how the hell they don't have the NES or SNES thing on here for voice chat? Considering you can actually play multiplayer on some of those
You
games.
can play multiplayer in there.
Yeah,
I mean it's this weird thing where like I mean I do understand the idea of like Nintendo isn't always 100% sure like but like they are an online store, so if a hentai game makes it through, so be it. It will not overshadow almost anything.
And what
popular
regions is that
on it.
hentai game being released, by the way?
Also, let's pull back. It's probably not a hentai game, quote unquote, because hentai is a very specific category.
it is.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
saying, what regions
definitely-
is this egregious game being released in?
So it's a matching game with what did you say, Pharaoh?
What region is it being
And
released
I
in?
also want to know: does it say adults only? Does it say mature? Does it say teens? Because that also means something. I mean, as much as the fucking rating system is a joke, it is there for a reason.
What the fuck it's called? Let me see. Switch.
'Cause I mean, you're acting like this game has a worldwide release. And if it's a hentai game, I know damn sure it's not being released in America. I know it's damn sure not being released in Australia either.
Or Germany.
Or Germany. Yeah, there's certain regions that game just isn't coming out in.
But I do think you still make a point, Pharaoh, because one of the things I do remember, and it's the only system I've ever seen to do this, even though most systems have had them. Nintendo had a whole sort of, as part of their direct, a whole thing about parental controls.
Mm-hmm.
Like they devoted a section to being like, hey guys, or hey parents, here's how you manage this space. PS5, PlayStation, and Sony, Xbox have never done that, as far as I can tell. They have parental controls, but if you like didn't know, there's never been at least none that I've seen, and I'm sure somebody could prove me wrong if not, but I've never seen an Inside Xbox or a Sony State of Play that stopped and said, here's how our parental controls work.
Also, I'm just.
Yeah,
I got very
But on
curious.
PlayStation.
I got very curious. I got very fucking curious. Because I'm just curious. I found 8 hentai games on the Nintendo Switch. But to go against Omar's point, they're not just on Nintendo Switch. They're also on PC, they're on PlayStation, they're on Mac, they're on Linux,
Yeah, but
iOS.
Wait a fucking minute. He was talking about how Nintendo wanted to protect the children. And I was calling bullshit on that.
Oh, well,
They didn't want to protect the
please think of
children.
the
I said they
children.
understand their market and they understand what people want. And they
You
understand that
don't-
children don't care about achievements. That children don't care about voice chat, and that parents don't want their children voice chatting with random strangers on the internet playing Pokemon.
And it was
No,
Jubei that
no,
said he
no,
didn't
they
want
were
his
different.
kid doing. He didn't, and it was Jubei that said that he didn't want his daughter randomly
I
talking to
didn't.
some dude online.
I
They
didn't
will
say
just-
that
they
Nintendo
will
was
just
protecting
leave it,
anybody. I said Nintendo understands its market and what
They-
its market wants.
Yeah,
That's what I
they-
said. I didn't say
they
they were
will-
protecting anyone.
They will
I
leave
never
it
said they were
there.
protecting anyone. I said they understand their market and what their market wants.
Just for information's sake, are you aware of the debacle that is Super Smash maps?
Yeah, that's user created content, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but once again, like that's not like you can certainly do that, but I think, and I'll make the argument that say like Nintendo is quote unquote trying to protect the kids, in the most Nintendo way possible. But just like I was saying about the parental controls, they're the only company I've ever seen to even acknowledge children. Like for anything,
even when you look at the commercials, they don't show a lot of adults playing Switches.
Like the early ones did, and but it was always this family thing, and it's like this isn't necessarily a shot at Xbox or PlayStation, but it's certainly clear the intended audience as opposed to the other two. Everybody likes to get up on their high horse and talk about parents need to be regulating what games their kids play and what they look at. Nintendo is at least giving people extra options to help do this.
And also, it's not because Nintendo knows that they do have an adult audience, hence why they release games like Metroid Dread and stuff like that, and Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 3. They know that audience already exists, so they don't need to go after that audience, because that audience is already going to buy their console, like Reggie.
Mm-hmm.
They're already going to buy it. They're trying to get a newer audience. They're trying to get... It's like pro wrestling. When pro wrestling went PG, they trying to get a younger audience because that's where the money is, because the adults are going to buy the kids all that fucking merchandise.
And it's almost died, which is why we've seen now
The
AEW.
Switch almost died?
What almost died? The Switch?
No, he's talking about wrestling.
No, I'm talking about wrestling. Yeah. How bad
It depends on your brand.
Yeah,
WWE as a brand, hot garbage. Hot garbage is a brand.
Oh, we can agree it's hot garbage, but they pulled in a profit, I believe, last year.
Oh yeah, but they're still making money because there's still kids out there that watch
they're
the shit.
making money because of deals, not because of their fan base.
But it's still...
No, they are. There's still kids that have fucking WWE shirts and shit and buy the toys. And bro, you can't tell me you ain't seen a child wearing a fucking John Cena shirt. They got a fan base, and it's kids. That's what it is.
Yep, indoctrinate the youth.
I think it's interesting, right? Clearly Nintendo does, because that's just been their brand. But from a Xbox and PlayStation standpoint, or even PC at this matter, is the idea that kids don't or shouldn't matter?
Oh, I mean, to PC, we really don't. To PC, it really doesn't matter. It's just a case of let's be fair. PC really has no marketing like PlayStation or Xbox. PC is just PC. You know what I mean? You either get into PC gaming through word of mouth, or you get into PC gaming because your parents were into it, or a number of different factors, and then you build a game. It's you're not seeing advertisements for you're not seeing advertisements for the hot new game coming to PC, or you're not seeing massive advertisement campaigns for you'll see advertisements for stuff like a HP gaming machine or something like that on a YouTube thing or something, but you won't see big giant billboards and shit being taken out propagating PC gaming like you would for PlayStation or Xbox or even Nintendo.
Right. And so,
but as far as PlayStation and Xbox, I would say they're trying to retain an audience, because their marketing seemingly they don't mind people getting Xboxes, because they understand the trickle effect of Xbox and PlayStation is cool, so kids will see the Xbox and PlayStation, so they'll want it and bug their parents for it. They don't need to market to them because it's the perception of what's cool. Nintendo, for as big as it is, Nintendo isn't really seen as cool, and it hasn't really
never
been
cool.
It's not. No, they've not been cool since the Super Nintendo in that regard.
Yeah.
Hold on. So what PlayStation and Xbox are effectively trying to do is retain the audience they've effectively had since the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360.
Okay, my thing is what you asked is. Can you ask the question again, please, Zero?
So essentially what I'm saying is we sort of understand that Nintendo advertises to children. We just get that. It's how they've operated the entire time for the most part. Whereas Xbox and PlayStation, and again, not to any detriment to it's not a knock on them. It just doesn't mean seeing that they don't. And I would just add the caveat about the message the answer sometimes will always going to be, well, when I was a kid, I played these games and I turned out fine. That's not exactly what I'm saying. I'm just saying when we want parents to actually parent their children, then that means like watching what they play. It does not seem that Xbox or PlayStation has a really big catalog that's speaking directly to children. If I don't want my 8-year-old to play Uncharted or Halo, or so things of that nature, like are they just not concerned with sort of marketing towards children, the other two, in the
No,
same way Nintendo does?
I don't think they are concerned, especially with the way they have been moving. Yes, they put out every now and then quote unquote kiddie game, which actually is not even a kiddie game. They have Gravity Rush, you can call it. It's a fun game. Heck, Astrobot is a game
Robot would
that
be one, yeah.
kids are loving to playing, but PlayStation, and I would even say Xbox, hardcore audience are the grown up because that's where the money comes from. Kids are not going to buy your console. Grown up are going to buy your console and give it to the kids if they want to. So if a kid say, "Hey, mommy, daddy, I want this console," and the parents don't want to buy it for them, then the kid is not going to get such console.
And then that kid will proceed to get absolutely destroyed in school because he doesn't have the latest console.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like the Switch.
Kids
The
are
Switch
cruel.
is every like parent that doesn't like really care about gaming. Even if the parent does care about gaming, it's the entry console for a child. For most kids, it's the entry console.
The Switch
You graduate to a
is
PlayStation
Especially
5
with
or
all the
Xbox.
toys that can come with it, like the amiibos and
Yeah.
stuff.
the Switch
Yeah.
is marketed for younger audience, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
What are you arguing then?
No, it wasn't. I was just
No, I'm asking
Omar
Omar what he's arguing, what he's trying to argue.
I'm
Well,
just saying that. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think he was arguing was what I was saying. I think it just answered my question, which was like, no, like the other two aren't particularly interested in going after children, at least not in a major way. Like they certainly are. Like Xbox has not the Lego game, Minecraft.
I mean, Xbox has come out and said that they would like to purchase a studio that does like just focus on making kids-based games, but hasn't happened yet. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
Alright. We need to move on to the next topic. This is one that Omar wanted, but I'm also bundling this with something else that Jubei wanted to talk about. But first, let's hit the first one. Xbox and PlayStation sales. So, in a recent article, it has been said... Now, I need to preference this before Omar poisons any kind of wells going on. The PlayStation 5 has ended the Switch's 3-year run as best-selling console. Now, what needs to be preferenced about this is that the PlayStation in the... Which month was it? In the month of September, sold more consoles and hardware than the Nintendo Switch after 3 years. So this long after its release, the PlayStation finally sold more consoles in a singular month than the Nintendo Switch. Okay, this is a month by month thing. Not that it's outsold the Switch, not that it's like dominating the market. It just happens to be that in the US, the PlayStation is the best-selling console and hardware of the month of September. I didn't want to. I'll be fully transparent. I didn't really want to talk about this because in the end, this is kind of a This is kind of a nothing burger until it goes on for like a full 3 years, like what happened with Nintendo. But Nintendo finally got knocked off their perch after 3 years by the Switch by the PlayStation 5 for 1 month. So Omar, go ahead, have your moment in the spotlight, and
I just find it impressive because of we're living in a pandemic and stuff like that. But just impressive, no more.
Well, I will say, since I'm in this very abusive relationship with Nintendo, I did just talk bad about them, but now I'm gonna bring them back up. because they love me and they won't do this to me again.
Yeah.
They won't do this to me again. I promise
you.
They'll do it to you again.
Oh,
Yeah, they change
Zero,
them.
you can change them. Just keep believing it.
Zero. Nintendo will take you into a dark room and say no lube. Let's go.
You're the favorite child.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm their favorite child. Come on, we know this. It's just more of a rumor thing, or just thoughts, because I followed some of the Nintendo stuff. There are some thoughts that a lot of people were thinking that part of why this may have happened, and no actual disrespect to the PS5, it is nice that they're selling well. The OLED messed up the sales numbers because what happened is they stopped buying Switches in anticipation for the OLED. So it might be what Don's saying, like, let's see what happens afterwards. It could be a thing, but it could be nothing. But it was just a thought. It's like maybe it's just because people stopped buying them because they wanted the OLED, and now once people are starting to get the OLEDs, maybe we return back to our regularly scheduled programming.
Also, didn't OLED and Metroid come out almost neck and neck?
For the most part, yeah. Like it was essentially like if you're going to
definitely give some sale boost.
But that was at the end of September.
Yeah, it was like if you want Metroid Dread and you want to Switch, might as well get the OLED one.
Wait, no, OLED came out this month.
Yeah, it came out this month.
Yeah, it came out this month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else got anything to say about this? Juve, Pharaoh?
Not really. Like, it's cool they won a month, but that doesn't. The Switch has been curb stomping both the other consoles for 3 years straight.
Yeah,
like without mercy.
Fucking relentless, like teeth on the pavement with fucking heavy duty boots on, just stomping.
You gotta understand. Animal Crossing alone has sold more copies of itself than there are PS5s and Series S and X's in the wild. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
And it's not going to slow down. I mean, like, it slowed down this month because I believe, the OLED situation, because everybody's like holding off on buying a Switch. Like, I guarantee you, PlayStation ain't winning October. There's no games for PlayStation in October, or there's no first party shit for PlayStation in October. It's not going to win October. It's not going to happen.
We'll have to see. I mean, I'm staunchly against the OLED, and I've given my reasons why. And
I really want one.
Fuck off, Zero. I knew it.
And I want one too, just because of that kickstand. Like that's what
I'm saying. Like, we had this whole segment like talking about Nintendo doing bullshit.
I hate you both.
And he's like, I'm gonna get that OLED.
Watch this.
I'm probably not gonna
get it. Next
probably
year.
Not gonna get it.
I want this said. If they announce a fucking another Switch next year, a more powerful Switch, I want this fucking timestamp so I can go back and play it and ask, is there any buyer's fucking remorse?
to me, I feel like Nintendo is like in a place like they're like Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, there's no new Switch coming. Like,
yeah,
just enjoy it for another 5 years, and then maybe we'll think about it.
Another 5 years, Jesus.
Maybe. Yeah.
That sounds like torture.
I'm telling you, that's how I feel. I feel like they're like Grand Theft Auto 5 right now. Like, we're just.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying it sounds like fucking torture.
Yeah, I mean they are because they literally have one of their products that's right up there with Grand Theft Auto 5 that's just been existing and topping sales charts, and I still don't understand how Mario Kart is number 11 on the top sales charts.
Won't someone think of the OLED colors?
Like, everyone just has to have it by now, right? Like, who? I don't understand.
I'm telling you, they might do a nostalgia thing, do like a Switch red version, blue version. Like,
it'll be a Switch Mini. It'll be a Switch Mini. We swear it's better than the Lite. I mean, for fuck's sake, remember the fucking Switch Lite only recently came out, and that dramatically fucking failed because of the bullshit with the goddamn Joy-Cons, because they're using the same fucking Joy-Cons, and they're using the same fucking Joy-Cons in the OLED.
Yeah, I think there's.
But did it fail? Because I have one in my house.
What,
I don't know.
So-
And Kofi was like 3 steps away from getting one. And like he was asking people to like convince me to not get one.
What, a light
He's
or an
trying to get a
OLED?
Switch Lite, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Like I was like, Kofi, you're fine. He was like, yeah, I hear you, but that Switch Lite though. I was like, no, don't do it.
Nope.
There's a part of me that thinks I think the flavors are part of it, right? Like that Animal Crossing Switch Lite only exists in the Switch Lite, I believe. So it's like if you want that one, that's big reason why I want the OLED. I want the white Joy-Cons. And I don't know if they sell them separate yet.
You know they're going to. You know they're going to. I want to do a quick Google search. Give me a moment.
But what if they don't? Then I won't be able to get my cocaine white Joy-Cons.
And that was what I was looking at too.
Yes,
Them
they
white
already
joints look
fucking
sexy.
sell them. They already fucking sell them.
Alright.
They already fucking. I'm literally looking at Okay, so they're custom controllers. Okay, they're custom controllers.
No, I need an official Nintendo joint. See?
Hold on, wait, hold on.
See?
On Nintendo, let me see.
Do they sell that kickstand though? Do they
don't sell it yet,
that
and that
immaculate
kickstand is killer.
kickstand?
No, they don't sell the goddamn kickstand, but you know third party stands exist.
I don't want that though.
Oh my
I don't want that.
Hey man, listen. I know I'm part of the problem, okay? I fully admit it. I'm not hiding from it.
Likewise, I mean,
Yeah.
like y'all know my stupid expenditures on things I don't need. Like,
And none of that
Come
money
on,
goes to me. That's what hurts the most.
Like I try to be like fair, but again, like Switch would be like, but these new Luigi greens, and I'd be like, I gotta get the Luigi greens though. Like
You can order green ones. You can order green ones. Is the worst part.
bro, it's like sneakers at this point, yo.
it really is like sneakers, and I think people, but like I think that was the same way with the old ones. Like if you didn't have a bunch of different color N64 controllers, like what were you doing?
You were lame.
Yeah, you were
Plain and simple. Like I went out of my way to get different colors. Like when that Pikachu yellow joint dropped, I had that.
And
that was mine.
This is why I'm glad I don't give a shit about what other people think. Alright, and speaking of what other people think, speaking about what other people think, let's look at the next part of this topic. Because clearly some people some people are gonna have opinions here, but officially the Xbox Series SX has officially outsold the original Xbox release in Japan, with 100,000 hardware units sold between the X and S, with I believe the figures it says right here, figures break down to 64,284 Xbox Series X's sold and 38,307 S units sold, with a combined total of 102,591 Xboxes sold in Japan in the last year.
Which is dope. Do you know how many years it took the Xbox One to hit that number?
What did the
years?
A whole generation.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it hit that.
I think it's a pretty big deal. Because if the Xbox is selling, to me that means Game Pass is selling, because Japan is a mobile country. So I think if the Xbox is selling 100,000, then you probably have another, like 20 to 50,000 who are probably like Game Pass subs who don't own an Xbox.
When it's explained to them that they don't need it. If you explain to them that they don't need it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, so I can still get all this shit on my mobile device?"
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think if you're seeing 100,000 Xboxes sold in Japan, I think you're seeing a lot more, like PC and mobile people getting Game Pass on their mobile devices and playing that way. So I think it is a big deal, because I think it shows that Xbox is trending in the right direction in that region.
And that this is going to be a topic we jump onto next week when Kofi comes back, because apparently, like we discussed last week, the news that certain retailers are not selling the Series X. Apparently, new information has come out about that, but unfortunately, I don't read or speak Japanese, but Kofi does, so we're going to be revisiting Xbox in Japan next week, if Kofi deems that it's actually worth talking about with the new information. But speaking of things being delayed in Japan, one moment.
Elden Ring?
Okay. Speaking of things not coming in the state that we want. Yes, the next topic we are going to be talking about is the unfortunate delay of Elden Ring by a month, I believe. And I know where this is going. I'm just gonna straight out say I know where this is going because somebody said, I don't know who it was in our talk who said this. Should we be worried? I know where all this comes from. It's because now every time what?
Yeah, there was genuine Pharaoh that asked that.
Yeah,
question.
every time
I asked that. I'm not
who
concerned at all about games being delayed.
I asked that. I asked it.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Too bad it
Sorry
didn't.
about
Fucking throwing accusations out there like false facts. Ouch. Like,
ooh, let's
yeah,
say me.
yeah, like. So here's the thing: because of one fucking game that shall not be goddamn named, even though I enjoy it, every single fucking game it seems now that gets delayed is now being thrown with the stigma of, is it in fucking trouble? I'm gonna straight out say it. I fucking hate this mentality. This is why gamers can't have nice things, because we have no fucking patience and we have no faith. I understand the caution. This is why we wait for reviews and we don't buy day one. But we need to let go of this stigma that just because a game got delayed again doesn't mean that it's in trouble. But I want to open up the floor to people, to the panel. Jubei, you asked, so I want you to hit us with this first, okay? Why are you concerned about this, and why are you not on camera, son?
Oh,
I was feeling alone.
My bad. Anyways, so my biggest concern is, as a consumer, I want shit to work that I pay for. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
After getting shafted a couple of times with, digital purchases, not being able to return them and being stuck with them, I am, super irate and sketch about it. I honestly, it worries me because I don't want another SP. I don't want another CP moment. You understand? Like, I was super looking forward to that game, and then it launching how it did, like it broke my heart. Like, I was like,
come on now,
really?
Jubei, they told you the Xbox Series X version wasn't dropping day one, and until the Xbox Series X version drops, you shouldn't have bought the game.
And you shouldn't, and you shouldn't, and this is why you shouldn't buy games day one. And this is why you shouldn't buy.
And I'm with you on that.
And this is why you shouldn't buy
pre-ordering games.
And this is why you shouldn't buy digital. And this is why you shouldn't buy digital, because you can't return that shit.
Well,
this is why digital
that's not going to stop for me.
A dangerous thing.
I mean, it is.
Right,
but
the
main culprit, the main culprit of the digital bullshit is PlayStation. Like, you can't download that shit. It's a rep. I'm good. I don't I feel shafted because I got the digital PlayStation 5.
And it's crazy how they scam y'all because they be like, oh, you got all these pre-order bonuses. But then you wait 30, 45 days and buy the game. You get the game and all the damn pre-order bonuses for like $40.
Facts.
That's why I bought mine physical.
Like, and we all have backlogs. We're all adults with jobs and we buy games and they kind of just never really get finished the way we want them to. Like, you can wait 30, 45 days to buy a game and get it at its true cost and not have to deal with that upcharge.
Do you know how
much is Ratchet & Clank right now?
I'm pretty sure it's still $70.
Give me a minute. I'm looking pre-owned as well.
Unless it's on sale. Pre-owned is...
Well, physically, you could probably get it for like $40 somewhere.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Which game? Which game?
Ratchet & Clank.
You can get it for $30.
I knew it. What'd I tell you?
You can get
Ratchet and Clank
Oh
right
no,
now.
sorry. That fucking misleading bastards. No, they sell it for £42, which is still cheaper than 50
Yeah, it was on
50 to
discount
60.
when
No, this is pre-owned. This is pre-owned.
Don't matter.
On the
So, like,
hold
you
on
walked
the
in-
PlayStation
It doesn't
store.
even matter. It doesn't even matter when you buy a game pre-owned anymore because all you're doing, that disc, all it does is hold the license now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, it's not like the game's on the damn disc anymore. Like
Nope.
it's just a license on the disc, and once you pop that disc in, it downloads the game.
Yeah,
Like,
the disc
You're still gonna have that stupid ass day one patch. Oh, this game is gold. Why do you need? Why isn't the day one patch already on the fucking disc, then, buddy?
Like these games are not games nowadays where you can just plug it in and play. Like if you're not connected to the internet, the game's good to go. Like that's the case for some games, but for most games,
I mean, the console that does that is the Switch.
I mean, yeah, I would say there's
You throw a
Give me that
cartridge
Switch!
in there, you in there.
Like, oh man, like, it was
The
crazy.
Switch.
I bought Bravely Default 2, popped it in, and just started playing. Didn't have to update
Yeah.
immediately. It was crazy.
So the Promised Land still exists? I only heard of such thing in legend. Oh,
Like,
Jesus.
because I know it's licenses, like, I know buying digital to me just isn't a big deal. Like, it's just kind of be like how it is, what it is.
No, I get you. But like, okay, so your main concern is like you don't want it coming broken.
Exactly, and I'm like,
okay.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't want.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't want no shenanigans. I'm tired of the shenanigans. I'm absolutely sick and tired of shenanigans.
I don't blame
I
you.
got shenanigan with Outriders. I'm like, I didn't even pre-order that game. Like, I bought it after the fact still, but I'm like,
The worst part,
shenanigans.
obviously.
Square don't got no servers, B.
What's up?
The Square don't got no servers, B. That's why
They
Final
really
Fantasy
fucking
14
don't.
they had to stop selling it because like, oh, we don't got no more
They
server
have a
space.
server space. How do you not have server space for your game? You know how much money that game done made? Get the fuck out of here.
No, they gotta buy that. They gotta buy those spaces with that money now. I would say
that's
Avengers
the
took
MMO
it all.
problem.
Avengers took all that money.
Yep.
Disney
In launches, in L's.
Disney
Now they got-
said,
At
give me
least
that money.
they could have at least gave us legit voice acting though, like or likenesses from the fucking MCU if they were going to drop all that kind of fucking.
That would've
money.
cost
me
Yeah,
super great.
like
That would cost
The
me
game
super
isn't
great.
that horrible. My son
It's
plays
not,
it.
but, like-
He asked me for help. It's not that bad.
It's
But
a
still-
solid single player game, and then
It
once
is.
it moves away from that, it gets a little shaky.
I'm just overplaying as great value Thor, like Walmart brand Thor. That's what I gotta. That's what I gotta play with here.
Oh, jeez.
And they're selling the fucking MCU skins, like bastards.
Which I would like to add, because I fight for the underdog games. That Guardians of the Galaxy will also have a bunch of skins that'll be able to be earned in game.
I
Don't have
think
to pay
Guardians of the
anything
Galaxy
for
is
it.
going to be a better game though.
I'm telling you, the Guardians of the Galaxy about to be lit, and people go, you'll
We'll
rule
see.
the day, just like you guys ruled the day with Bug Snacks.
Alright, well, fucking Bug Snacks again! Fuck off with that shit! Zero! Fuck off with that shit and talk
Does
about.
Bud Snacks have a Switch cartridge? Or... I guess
Oh,
not.
Zero, what are your thoughts on the Elden Ring delay? Is this a time to burn the whole fucking thing down? Or should we be patient and believe in the gods, the goats that are from Software who bought us amazing games like the original Demon's Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and Bloodborne, which admittedly launched with really horrendous fucking load times, but they quickly patched. Should we be concerned?
I hate to answer a question with another question. What's the scope of this game?
Game,
what's the size?
by the looks,
It's supposed to be a pretty big game.
it's apparently going to be larger than any of the other Dark Souls or Bloodborne. It's apparently meant to be much larger, which is why I believe it's only launching on PlayStation 5, SX, and PC.
No,
PC.
no. It's also launching on the other generation. The leaked picture is apparently.
Oh yeah, the leaked picture. That is an Xbox One version. Yeah, there's an Xbox One version.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there is a previous gen version,
Yeah.
which does actually raise some concern for me because I was hoping, okay, please just let this be like a last generation console, next generation console. Yeah, it is, unfortunately.
Yep. I think Dragon Age 4 is actually going to be better because it's not coming out on last gen.
Yeah, we can only hope.
Dragon Age is not coming on last gen.
My only thing is though is will this just basically be a big giant graphical difference and because like scope can be fitted onto an older disc as has been proven. Scope can be fitted on a lower disc, so maybe this is just a graphical fidelity frame rate thing, which I mean, if you're playing a Souls games at 30 frames per second, first of all, I'm so fucking sorry. So fucking sorry. Like I love Bloodborne, but fuck me, once you see that in 60 frames per second, you'd wonder how you could play it at 30.
I should go back and actually play it now that I could do it at 60.
No, you can't.
You can't.
Can I not?
It's still 30. Unless you're on PC.
No, Bloodborne isn't even out on PC. The 60 frames per second mod is a hack. It's a mod bought out by one fucking guy who did it and proved that it could be done on, because even Digital Foundry did a video on it showing that it could be run at upscaling AI using 4K 60 frames per second on a modded PlayStation 5. Proving it can be done, they just won't fucking do it.
Yep.
Fuck them.
Now the real question is why, and this is why I'm worried about delays. We as consumers, as much money as we make the game industry, as much literal green, good or bad, that we provide to this, I mean, can we get some kickback? Can we fucking get our money's worth?
Nope.
You feel me? Like,
where's my free system?
Like, fuck.
You can get your money's worth if you decide not to buy the game day one and buy it at its true value 30 to 45 days later.
That is true. Stop pre-ordering games.
That might be the thing. Like, and so, after what everybody said, now it's like, now I'm side-eyeing you. I'm just like,
like there are certain games that you are fans of, so that if you're a fan of that game, like it's like a sequel or something like that, buy that game day one. But for these new IPs and stuff like that, and they continuously releasing them in broken states, like stop giving the benefit of a doubt. Make them earn your dollar. And if they do a good job on the sequel, if the game's good, then reward them on the sequel with a day one purchase. But I mean, stop going in blind on games that from developers you don't necessarily trust.
Well, that's the problem though, is because he keeps because like Jubei tried to dance around it because he knows I like the game and I'm sick of fucking hearing about it. But when Cyberpunk 2077 came out, everybody trusted CD Projekt Red. Everybody did, and it's the same situation with From Software. They've shown time after time with all of the bangers they brought out: Demon's Souls, all three Dark Souls, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which was a Game of the fucking Year winner, and Bloodborne, that they can deliver on fantastic games. Like, granted, they're niche kind of games where we want you to fucking suffer and ask for more, and we will give it to you, but like they have a proven track record of bringing out these games in really good condition, minus their fucking online, which it seems like they're actually trying to sort now, because they're actually asking for a closed network test for Elden Ring, because Elden Ring will have a online kind of component, so maybe invasions like Demon's Souls and Dark Souls. But they're doing 5 whole sessions of network testing.
I signed myself up for one of the network testing.
So it seems like they're trying to fix that goddamn problem after they didn't have any online with Sekiro. But like, again, they're a trusted developer. And but with this delay, it's kind of thrown, at least for Jubei, it's thrown a spanner in the works of, can I trust them? Because I've literally been pushed onto hot coals by all of these developers up to now. I don't want to get up and be pushed back down on them again.
Exactly.
I would say one thing. This is why I wanted CD Projekt Red to be punished. So other companies learn from it and understand consequences are in effect if you fuck up us like that.
But here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that mentality. Now, I for many years I was like that with EA. Like I was on the burn them to the ground mentality. But then I actually then I realized if I burn them to the ground, everybody else under them suffers. At least with from CD Projekt Red, it's because again, it wasn't the developers, it was the publisher, it was CD Projekt that was the problem, not CD Projekt Red. With Elden Ring, like it is purely just from software. Namco Bandai is just publishing it, and they've done that with all but one of their games. I think they've published. They've published only. They've not published two of their games. Activision published Sekiro, and PlayStation published Demon's Souls. Bandai Namco has released every other one of their games, basically the Dark Souls games, and except Bloodborne. Sorry, no, Bloodborne they didn't either. But my point is this stigma because of CD Projekt Red being applied to literally everybody, I feel is really unfair because we're throwing shade where shade might not be necessarily warranted until we actually get and see the game in action by the people who do get it day one and see if it is a broken piece of shit.
But here's the thing: it's in me and my wallet's best interest to be skeptical of this shit.
Oh no, I'm not saying don't be skeptical, but I'm on about like him turning around and saying making an example of one studio that doesn't negate the problem with every other studio, and that's just slapping the stigma on every other studio that has done nothing wrong.
It absolutely does negate it in a way because they will then know if we fuck up, we're gonna be destroyed.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't, and I'll give you an exact and I will give you a big giant fucking example of that. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. That game launched in an awful fucking state, and in many ways still is in a really bad fucking state. And it sold like goddamn hotcakes. It does not deter wallets.
It deterred me. I am definitely not getting Vanguard. It's not going to happen.
But money deters. Not making an example of somebody, that doesn't work. Making sure that company doesn't get money is what deters them. CD Projekt Red already got your fucking money. They already got the money. They got the money, laughed at the bank, and started patching the game afterwards. Admittedly, it actually runs really well now. But my point is, making an example of a company does not work in that time. Now, if you want to make an example of them, don't buy their next game until it's proven as a commodity. And unfortunately, we can't prove if it's going to be a good commodity until it actually comes out. So throwing this stigma on everybody just doesn't help anybody at all. Doesn't help us, doesn't help them in any way, shape or form, because we don't know if the game is going to be a piece of shit until it actually comes out. And if it's a piece of shit when it comes out, the people who held back, which should be the mentality now, the people who held back are going to be like, I just saved some money and I'm not going to trust them again.
Yeah,
like I like Cyberpunk. I like Cyberpunk
2077.
Yeah, I like Cyberpunk 2077, but I ain't buying their next game off the bat. Fuck no.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, I'm not putting that stigma on all devs.
But Omar is. My thing was focused directly at Omar because that's basically what he's doing. Wasn't to you. I understand yours is yours is a middling skepticism.
All devs aren't bad, but even devs with the best intentions, even when any game that releases, games just don't release in perfect states anymore. Even good games, even a game like Returnal, everyone loved it. It did not release well.
No,
there were some issues with it.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is a game that I would literally fucking marry to my firstborn child. Did not.
Oh, that game had a lot of issues.
Did not launch well. Fire Emblem Three Houses.
That game didn't launch well.
No.
There was a lot of issues.
There was frame rate issues. There was art issues. There was loading screen issues. Like holy fuck me Christ, the fucking loading sometimes in that game was ridiculous.
Are we asking? So then, I'm not trying to change the subject, but I genuinely want to ask the question. Are we asking or expecting too much from developers?
No, because the
nowadays?
difference is that here's the thing: we might be accepting two. It's both ways. It's both ways, honestly. Because with Fire Emblem Three Houses, I look at that and I'm like, you are a game on a scale where you probably packed in more than you intended, but they optimized it very goddamn quickly. Like, this was rectified in the first month, and it wasn't anything that was absolutely game-breaking, it was just distractions. Where Cyberpunk 2077, though I enjoyed my experience, I will not deny the clipping, the goddamn fucking AI running into barricades, the amount of fucking people that just materialized in front of me, the fucking performance, the loading. Like, there was a lot more problems than what Fire Emblem had. So with Fire Emblem, it's excusable. So I'm not letting them get away with a lot. With Cyberpunk, I let them get away with a lot because I still enjoyed my experience, but I'm not going to deny the issues that it had.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Bloodborne. Sorry, with Bloodborne, the frame rate issues and the loading screens and that those were issues, but they were small issues. Like the loading screens, I could easily sit through and have a drink, and the frame rate was consistent only in big giant boss areas. But like they're small issues that were rectified very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So it goes both ways. Sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think the developers are the issue. I'll let you go, Reg.
Oh yeah, well, because I partially agree with you, Phil. Like I don't necessarily think they're always, because I think, as we've seen out the industry and like from people who have sort of jumped out and stepped out and said it, like there are it's a big moving pieces to this thing, and a lot of it comes from the very top, because CD Projekt, I bet their CEO is still making an extreme amount of money despite the product they released.
Yep.
What I will think is beneficial of the CD Projekt situation is that what it seems to show is that here's where the line is, because the Cyberpunk's whole situation bled over into everyday news, not just the gaming space.
Yeah,
and so
it kind of became a big deal.
What FromSoft, no company except for good reasons wants to bleed over into everyday news. Like, you could turn on the channel during that whole fiasco, and like people who I know don't care about video games at all were seeing it on their Twitter timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is there's an irony to that that I'll get into when you're done. Sorry.
So it seems to be like that line was at least established to being like, all right, yes, there will probably be games that's going to come out that's even worse than Cyberpunk, but they will probably never be as big as the issue that it became for Cyberpunk. So it seems as though, and not necessarily the developers, but the people above them are making sure like, hey, I don't want to see us in regular people news unless it's for something good.
Yeah. So
make sure we don't wind up like that.
Dragonheart Yobi brings up the fact that the Nickelodeon All-Stars Day 1 and the online was screwed up. Like, that's a big issue. That's something that can't be ignored.
I was about to bring that up because I bought it too, and I'm like, that shit's jank. I haven't. I uninstalled the shit. Like, I wish I could have got a refund.
That's
what it is.
That's one of those issues of they can't get away with that. Like I said, loading times, that's something you can let slip through the crack because like it's a loading time. I'm sure you can literally have a smoke or drink or whatever in the intermediate time before you get in. It can be annoying, but it's not game breaking. No online for a game like that. That you can't let get away with.
Yeah, and I agree, because like that game came out and immediately it's like, oh, this is Smash. So it's already compared to that, and you weren't even close.
Now,
and then you had a whole bunch of problems.
Close.
Now you bring
voice online, like not even fucking close.
Now you bring up expectations. The ironic thing, and I always thought this about Cyberpunk 2077 when this happened, was hype and expectations versus reality, and how much that can blow things up. Because I don't know if I ever brought this up, but a game came out before Cyberpunk 2077, which had, in my opinion, just as many issues, if not more, kind of slipped through the cracks because nobody expected anything of this game. And
what's the name of
Cyberpunk got all of it because it had all of the hype and expectations with it, and that's Fallout 76.
Was The difference.
No, that got
The
drilled.
difference.
Oh no! That got no. If we're comparing apples to oranges here, Fallout 76 got dragged through the goddamn mud, but not to the extent Cyberpunk 2077 did. Like Omar just turned around and said, sorry, what Zero just turned around and said, the shitstorm around Cyberpunk 2077 escaped the gaming sphere and went right into like national publication. Everybody was talking about it. Fallout 76 it stayed within our gaming sphere. It didn't escape that. And if it did, it was like 1 or 2 mentions, but it wasn't as big as Cyberpunk. Like, I'm not defending either. I'm just saying the expectation and hype for Cyberpunk 2077 was much larger than Fallout 76.
Okay, so then I'm gonna agree and disagree with you at the same time. While everything you said is correct, I will add to it. Fallout 76 didn't dictate what you can show and not show in reviews.
That is true. But they also let everybody's fucking accounts leak through their fucking shitty website. They also screwed everybody over with those canvas bags, and they also fucked everybody over who bought their Nuka-Cola rum.
Yeah, and they got called out for it.
Yeah, but
and
what I'm talking about is like the sphere that it stayed inside the gaming sphere and people who cared about it, where Cyberpunk blew up and went into every other aspect of the public zeitgeist.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
I think the hype. I think for some reason the hype for
hype and expectation is what made that blow up more than Cyberpunk 2077 because with Fallout
and their reputation.
Yeah,
and the reputation.
And their reputation.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I'm. So we're all in agreement because with Cyberpunk 2077, let's be absolutely fair. Even though from like just viewing it from the outside, it looked like people were hyped for it. Once you got in, a lot of people were questioning who the fuck was asking for this.
Right. Yeah. It was like. And as big as Fallout is, like, it does feel like it has a very specific audience. That, like, it only ever, like, whenever I see it, it's just the people who I know like Fallout talking about it. And then they just go and do their own thing. It's like Civilization to me. It's like,
oh, yeah.
Civ is huge, but only for people who are, like, really into Civ.
Yeah.
And if you're not into Civ, then, like,
Yeah, same with StarCraft. It's like, you know, like, it's just one of those things. It's just self-contained into its own thing,
pretty much.
Yeah, right. But like the guys who made The Witcher,
pretty much. All right, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about Elden Ring before we move on to the next topic, which is going to be a short one? Because I think this next one is just we're all going to universally give out a hearty fuck you to whoever sent this. Has anybody got anything else to say about Elden Ring?
We're good. We covered all the bases pretty much.
Yeah, we covered all the bases.
Okay, right. I think all of us for this next one. I wish I'd moved over to the fucking Elden Ring scene. I completely forgot about that because we was talking too much. This last one. Blue Box receiving death threats over Abandoned. For a hearty from me personally, not anybody else. I'll let them speak. From a hearty me to the people sending these death threats, go fuck yourself. Go straight to hell. Burn in hell. I hope the devil fucking sodomizes you with his goddamn pitchfork. How about that, apples? Go ahead. Anybody else got anything to say?
Omar, can you explain it to me?
Yeah,
I don't know. I've seen it. I just don't know what it is.
I'm going to break it down for you guys. First of all, Blue Box came out with a teaser trailer. And okay, so everything I say is true, but the exact date, the exact thing that happened, that's something you gotta look it up for yourself because they came out with a teaser. They said we're gonna showcase something amazing for PlayStation 5. They started this chat. They started by saying, we are developing a horror game that starts with the letter S and with the letter L. Anyone can name that game?
Yeah. Everybody thought they were talking about Silent Hill.
Everybody thought.
It's not everybody start thinking about it, Silent Hill. They created it. And let me explain how. So they first did that, And when people started saying Silent Hill, Silent Hill, Silent Hill, Silent Hill, they had the fucking audacity to tweet this out. And I'm gonna put it so I can say it verbatim. Blue
Send
Box
it to
Studio,
me. Send it to me as
because
well.
it's I will send it on Discord, no, Twitter, because I don't have it on Discord yet. I don't have my Discord on my phone yet. It's literally on Twitter. If you go to their Twitter handle, it's literally the first thing you see. We wanted to set things straight. We have no relation with Konami. Silent Hill is owned by Konami. We do not have any relation with Hideo Kojima. It was never our intention to tease the name as Silent Hill. We sincerely apologize for this. So I actually commented on this, and let me see where my comment here. Okay,
Yeah, because a lot of here's the thing, because like what I know about this situation as well is like between this tweet and the previous tweet, like everybody just kept spamming at them, asking them or telling them, "Oh, so you're working with Hideo Kojima? Is this another oh fuck's sake, another Metal Gear
I
Solid?"
think they definitely
5?
wanted the attention because they never like they went a while without confirming that they could have nipped this in the bud
Yeah.
in the very beginning.
I agree, but hold on. But the thing is, like leading up to this, people thought that this was another. When Metal Gear Solid 5 was being teased, and it was Moby Dick Productions, and like they kept the fact that it was a Metal Gear Solid 5 very quiet. And Hideo Kojima was Moby Dick Productions, and they showed that trailer in the hospital with Ishmael.
Okay.
And then with Silent Hills, they did 1937 Studios with PT. And then at the end, you found out that it was actually Silent Hills being worked on with Hideo Kojima. People immediately jumped on thinking that was what was going on here as well.
The problem is not they think. I will explain it. So I said this. Okay, let's say that's true, and you guys are being honest. Why the fuck? I want to say fuck, but I said heck. Why the heck would you guys set the PlayStation community to such failure and disappointment? You out here literally digging your own grave. I get it. You want to market your game, hype it up, but don't use an IP that most people want to see and are excited about. Of course, they never got back to me, but that's not the case. So after that, they said we gonna showcase a teaser or trailer. In order to see the trailer, you need to download the PlayStation an app on PlayStation Store. Something, in my opinion, I could be wrong, unprecedented. Never happened that you actually need to download an app on PlayStation just so you can view the trailer. Yes. So and also they have PlayStation behind them. That's what makes this so much problematic for them as a company. They on your bio, when you read their bio, they're literally saying that developer of abandoned, coming exclusive to PlayStation 5. And to make things even worse, they literally had Shuei Yoshida retweet their teaser, their tweet about that trailer that they're gonna showcase on, let's say, January. I don't know the exact same date, but I'm trying to make a point here. January came. They never showcased anything. What they did instead, they apologized and they said, "Look, guys, technical difficulty, yada yada yada. We're gonna postpone it. Postponed it to February or something like that." People were still hyped so far. February came. They showed nothing. Look, guys, our dog ate the homework. That's literally the definition of the excuse that they gave. but they gave it in a technical term, like voice acting not ready, stuff like that. People still were behind them. The third one, and this is the most egregious one, what they did. Meanwhile, all this time they kept teasing it, but this time, in my opinion, they went too far. They teased it by showcasing something that resembles Silent Hill 2, the ending of Silent Hill 2. They teased it by showcasing something that resembles the main character of Silent Hill. And here is what gets even
Are you
worse.
referring to this? So I'm showing it right now on screen.
Give me a second. I need to look at your
Because
screen.
it's on their Twitter.
Give me a second.
No, it's on the stream. The mod.
I am starting the stream right now. I had it open, but
This is all that's on their Twitter.
Yeah. This, and people lost their fucking mind about this. And not only that, they did one where they showcased something that resembles Solid Snake even. So now that you have a rumored either Metal Gear Solid or a remake, because you know that shit was in conversation, and fucking Silent Hill. So, and then came the day that was when they were going to showcase it for the first time after 3 delays. It never happened. You're laughing. PlayStation
I
fans.
am.
I look at the PlayStation fans. They were vicious. They were genuinely mad. But why were they mad? Because they kept doing this thing. They kept saying our dog ate our homework. And the final nail of the coffin before the whole fiasco with the death threat came at when PlayStation had its PlayStation that mini event. What they call it? PlayStation, the one that they followed, like what Nintendo does. PlayStation. PlayStation.
State of play?
Yes, thank
State
you.
of Play?
Thank you.
Yeah.
State of play. PlayStation fans were expecting a reveal trailer from Blue Box because they kept hyping it up. State of Play came and left, and no reveal trailer whatsoever. After that, people were done. We're fucking done with it.
Really, because I'm looking through their Twitter right now. All I am seeing is just this has got to be Kojima. This has got to be Kojima. This trailer is trolling. It's got to be Kojima. Like Kojima. Like, and this goes back to
it's their
August.
fault.
Oh no,
fault.
I agree. No, like here's the thing.
Whose fault is it? You mean?
It's the developer of the game because they use Kojima's name to bring attention to their game, and they waited to the last minute to say, "Oh, Kojima has nothing to do with this."
I don't recall Omar saying that Kojima's name was dropped. They just said the S and L.
But no.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the rumor came out and they let the rumor fester.
No, but
they let the online community run with it that Kojima was working with them on this game.
They did something, and this is so mental. So the owner of the studio is someone called Hassan Harman or something like that.
Yeah, it's Hassan.
So
yeah,
people are still convinced this dude is Kojima or work for Kojima because look.
Yeah.
They said their studio is in Amsterdam in the Netherlands. I think in Amsterdam or Utrecht. I'm not exactly sure. So we all know Kojima opened a new studio in Amsterdam.
This fucking tweet! This fucking tweet!
And what makes it
No!
even worse?
Look on stream, guys. Look on stream. This fucking stream. This is fucking incredible. I fucking love this tweet. Oh shit! With in-depth graphic analysis, this video proves Hassan, or human artificial sensor algorithm nano cyborg, is in fact a high-end CGI running at 76 frames per second captured on the PlayStation 5. Keep in mind, Konami's Fox engine first live demo also ran at 76 frames per second. I'm fucking dead!
Okay, so you're laughing, but it went too far. How did it go too far? Is there any important number in Silent Hill or Metal Gear Solid?
Oh God! I know.
Probably.
Probably.
For Metal Gear, it could be any one of the various codecs. Right.
Okay, that's okay. So okay, to make it short, you have a dude by the name of Woolly Gamer. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of him. He is, let's say, he is Metal Gear Solid. Let's just call it like that. He is the biggest fan. He did so much research on this, and what he found is Hassan Kharman. We never heard of him yet. On his PlayStation account, if you count the amount of trophies he has, it comes out. It matches out a very important number in Metal Gear or Silent Hill. I don't know exactly which one it is, which is why I really wished Wooly would be able to join or give me that information, but he have family situation. So this is a little like the amount of quote unquote coincidences that were happening around this quote unquote project were too much to be ignored. So when that event happened, PlayStation event, and they didn't showcase it, people were down. Like they disappeared out the face of the earth until a few days ago. And here's the biggest issue. No, this is before the death threat. Here's the biggest issue. Few days ago, they restarted all over again. We have something to show you. It's going to be mind blowing. And that's when they got the death threat. And I'm gonna be
no, like no matter what, no matter all of this blue balling shit,
there's still no excuse. Yeah, there's still no validating.
No,
there's no justification for sending death threats to people who are just working on a video game.
They could. I'm just saying they could work the most elaborate, fucking 10 feet tall, 4D interdimensional fucking space bending black hole defying chess. They could be working all that shit, would never fucking justify sending someone death threats.
I look, just so you know, I never once said.
No, we're not saying you do. We're just putting because we all uniformly agree that we're just putting it down. We're just uniformly agreeing.
Everyone here universally agree. You should never, ever, ever, ever send death threat to anyone. But I must say, but
there is no but. The moment you add butting, you're adding justification.
No. It's not a justification. I'm just trying to explain something. But they created this toxic environment for them by themselves. They had every single opportunity to shut it down. When you come out and say our game starts with the letter S and ends with the letter L, and it's a horror game. Like, come on. If you're genuinely a fucking game developer, you should know people are gonna think Silent Hill. Like, come on. That it's the saddest part, and this for me is still painful. PlayStation have yet to comment on that. Shueishida have yet to say, look guys, we are not affiliated with this group in any way, shape or form. The reason why I say so is because as long Shueishida doesn't do that, as long PlayStation doesn't do that, the the stigma or the what's called that mindset, people are still gonna keep thinking this is Kojima. This is Kojima doing something that he wanted to do, which is during that Metal Gear 5 reveal. He got caught. People found out who he was because he started using a new Twitter address and stuff like that.
My problem
so-
with that then is this Twitter's been around since 2015.
I said, let me ask this then. What if it's true and it is a Kojima thing?
I swear
and
to
he's
God, if
super
it
long
is,
playing
I
you guys?
swear to fucking God, if it is, I will not buy this game.
Like, would you forgive him if he was like, sorry guys, I just had to really go in on this one? Like,
Yes
would you
and
forgive
no. Yes and no. Because I wouldn't forgive him because it's like you created a literal fucking shitstorm where people were outed as sending death threats if these death threats are legitimate. But I'd also respect the hustle and the balls and the longevity of this.
And this is why they're getting away with it, because of someone like Dante.
Wait, what do you mean getting away with it?
No, this is the name that Kojima brings. This is the biggest issue with it. When they associated themselves with the name Silent Hill, and they have fucking PlayStation backing them up, and Kojima never once came out and said, I have no affiliation with them. Shout out to Slomo Backlap for saying this. It's literally a mystery.
I love how you said that I'm to blame. I'm the reason he gets away with this when I didn't give a shit about Abandoned.
I said you are because there are a trillion thousand people like you.
Why me? I didn't give a shit about this. I didn't give a shit if Kojima was behind this or not. I didn't give a shit about this till today because you brought it up as a topic. I didn't know everything about this until now.
But you respect the hustle, though.
I respect the hustle of anybody who would do this. If anybody did this,
I would not. You created a toxic environment. You should have never done this.
I'd say fanboys created a toxic environment because y'all are the ones that ran with it.
Yeah,
dude,
and I didn't run with shit because I only just learning about most of this today, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like this is autism that just goes on that just breaks the fucking scale.
There's a rumor that Kojima's making an Xbox game. You don't see the Xbox
No, but fucking Omar went in on him for making it.
I've seen them.
Yeah, but Omar and PlayStation fanboys and Omar went in on that shit, didn't they?
You don't see Phil Spencer getting death threats because the Kojima game hasn't been announced yet. Like
what it definitely seems like he did. I don't necessarily. Well, I don't know what this is. Thank you, Omar, for that very thorough explanation because I really had no clue what this was.
Before you go, I'll say just one last thing to hammer it down. Everything that's happening right now with this Blue Box Studio, they've done it before.
This is not their first time.
Exactly.
This is just their MO.
Yes, this
That's
is
just their
their
energy.
MO. So this is why now this is why people now thinking must be Kojima because he know what they did before. They have a reputation of doing that. So let me contact them and take over. That's literally the mindset right now. But go ahead, Pharaoh. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no, I was just saying,
I mean, zero.
This is more. This is. I was just saying. This is more of a fanboy thing. I think the developers of this game abandoned that. They definitely they gotta wear it because they're the ones that decided not to put a nip in the bud. But this is just a case of fanboys gone wild. Like it just is what it is.
No, fanboys gone autistic. There's a difference. Fanboys gone wild is them fucking raving and ranting outside of a fucking game, a GameStop waiting for the game to fucking come out. Like fucking console releases and shit. Nah, this is fanboys gone autistic. Like as in dumb.
There are plenty of misleading marketing promotions that take place, and it doesn't result in death threats.
Obviously the death threats aren't great. I'll admit it's a little funny, but Blue Box, they went to the hornet's nest, kicked it, and then got mad, and then were like, "Well, why are you stinging me?" I'm like, "Well, you kicked the hornet's nest, bro. Like, maybe don't do that to and this reeks of some 40-year-old person running their Twitter account, trying to be edgy in the same way that the Sonic Twitter account was really funny, or Nihilus Arby's and stuff. We can do it too.
Or Wendy's.
Or Wendy's.
Wendy's be snapping.
Bro, honestly, the funniest part about all this to me is that the same people who are sending these death threats are the same ones who are killing Death Stranding. It was we don't even want another Kojima game. Did you see Death Stranding? He just needs to start making movies now. And then
maybe he is. This is his audition process.
So it's the same people who those same people are the same ones that are sending death threats now, which is the craziest part.
To be fair, we don't even know if these death threats are real. That's the big because
they're real enough for you to want it to be a topic,
and they're real enough that games journalists have picked up on them a lot quickly
because of how this studio have been acting.
So you're saying that this studio would go so far as to make up death threats against themselves?
Hey, this is the same. This is the same studio that we have a game that starts with the letter.
I don't know any fucking studio.
That's two complete opposite extremes. That's
I don't know. Well,
extreme.
Death threats starts in D and ends in S.
No,
so maybe it's Death Stranding 2. I'm trying. I'm trying
and you're failing, homie. You're trying and you're failing. Just like this podcast is coming to a fail right now because I think we're officially done. Ending this on the point of don't send death threats, you dumb bastards. Alright. Fuck. Alright, let's get to our outros. I will go first. Thank you for watching. I am Dante Crisis. You can find me at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, the Dante Crisis on Facebook, on Twitch, Dante Crisis, YouTube, Dante Crisis. You can also find me currently in your wife's bedroom. I swear to God, it's all kosher. There's nothing going on. I swear to God.
He's just watching his stream.
Yeah, I'm just podcasting from your wife's bedroom. All right, Jubei, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me finishing up no, I'm just playing. You can find me at Jubei Sensei on Twitter, Jubei X Sensei everywhere else. I'm going to be finishing up Demon Slayer this week. I gotta finish up my costume for Halloween. It's a Cyber Connect 2 game. So if you played Naruto Storm games, then you know exactly how the game is. There's slight additions to it, but
I was trying to get a Squid Game costume. I could not find it.
So
bro, you gotta make one. I am literally having to make my own uniform. I can't wait to show you guys.
So it doesn't have its own unique gameplay style or something like that?
It does. It's the first Cyber Connect 2 game with an actual parry system that works.
Wow.
So, it's iterative changes at this point, but it's going to be that typical 3D. You're locked on to that person kind of fighter.
As long as it's not like Jump Force.
It
shits on Jump Force.
Did you get any quitters on the online?
So, like Nintendo or Nickelodeon All Stars, the online netcode is bad. It's bad. It's bad. I don't know why it's bad, but it's bad.
Okay.
You lag out all over the place. Like literally, because there's a parry system in it. That netcode cannot be bad because you can literally stop somebody from fucking you up, and lagging, preventing you from blocking, leading you to being fucked up is not okay.
So basically,
the netcode is bad.
So basically, you go find Jubei on his Twitter giving people the fucking hands when they finally get the netcode going.
Yeah, when they finally, I am 1-1 online. Like I won my first match, no, not so much lag. Second match, I ran into an in-game Tanjiro character that you unlock at the end of the story or whatever, and he fucked me up. He gave me the business 3-0 in like 45 seconds of real life time. It was in and out.
Pharaoh, where can people find you, my man?
You can find me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre, Twitch at Land of Pharaoh. You can search me on Twitter, Pharaoh Bizarre. So.
Alright, Omar, where can people avoid you?
People can find me at Carva_Jab on Twitter. They can also find me on fucking waiting on my Hyper Quad X mic. Can't wait to get that shit tomorrow. And also they can find me at I need that at GameSlayer on YouTube every Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard.
And Zero, where can people find you, and where can people find us, especially on that Patreon?
Well, guys, you can just find me here. I'll just always be here, watching, waiting, watching, always watching. Just like always waiting, just here, never leaving.
Because
but if you want to find
Nintendo won't let him out of the house.
I mean, they'll let me out when like they feel like it's safe for me to be out. I don't really understand. Just because Xbox and PlayStation doesn't really love you guys enough to like protect you, that's on y'all, not on me. That's on y'all.
Go on.
But of course, you can find us. It has always been a blast. We thank you guys always. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. Really anywhere like you listen to something. Anywhere you listen to people making up their costumes for Halloween. Like that should be fun. I might actually show up on camera the Halloween show with my costume.
Yeah.
I mean, just because, like, yeah, 'tis the season. And of course, please subscribe to our Patreon. Is it just Vitamin G Gaming?
I believe so.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So while you're on that description, might as well hit a couple of likes, hit a couple of comments. View all of us individually, because while we all collectively come here to do this, and then we go spread away like the Power Rangers and go do our own thing for a little bit. So please check out Dante's streams, Pharaoh streams, Jubei streams. I don't stream, but like you can just like come to my house or something.
I mean, hey,
cool.
if you want to do another, stream with some Guilty Gear or something, let me know. We can.
I'll actually about to pick up Guilty Gear this weekend, so we might have to do that. And of course, please check out Game Slayer with Omar's new podcast. Just thank you guys for having us and always tuning in.
Yeah, and remember, keep it